and that music of your life means it's time for Helping Seniors of Brevard. John Harper with you, along with Kerry Fink. Good afternoon, Kerry. Hope you're staying warm as well.
Yeah, so it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas out there.
It is, certainly does a lot to get you in the Christmas spirit, and we all know, I think this year we need it more than ever, right?
That's right. Well, all is good on behalf of Joe Steckler, who is gaining on it. Well, we were trading emails just yesterday. You know, they have been working him literally, John Harper, 3 hours a day of physical therapy and trying to make sure that he's getting back on his feet, and he's reporting that it's working, and that he is actually already starting to make noise and talk about trying to work on the second knee, because you know it's a 2-knee process, right?
It is, and glad to know that Joe is ready to start going on that second knee, and once he has that replaced, repaired, my goodness, he'll be running around the track.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Like Bionic Man.
That's right. That is the voice of Dr. Kevin Kilday, who is in the studio today with Holistic Health Center. How are you, Dr. Kevin?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good.
We're well, and helping people get well, and just in the holiday spirit.
That's good. And I would say we're all wearing our ugly Christmas sweaters, but we're not. But we are trying to stay warm. And also today we're going to have Dr. Lee Sheldon. As you know, Dr. Lee Sheldon has been a fixture of helping seniors. Well, actually, like you, John Harper, he predates helping seniors. He goes all the way back to, I guess, back in the days when Joe was organizing everything with Brevard Alzheimer's.
Back into the early 90s.
That's right.
Yeah.
In fact, it's funny. You tell the story of helping Joe get started with radio, and Dr. Sheldon tells the story of helping Joe get started on TV, because I guess at the time, Dr. Sheldon hosted his own TV show in the area, just like you had radio stations and radio networks all through this area.
Yeah, and Lee Sheldon did a great job on that particular TV show. He was kind of a pioneer in those days on television. That was on Bright House Cable, which is now Spectrum. Mm-hmm. But and actually, there's even another name before Bright House. So I have to ask Lee what that name was.
Probably so. Well, he has submitted an excellent topic we're going to cover today, which is interesting at holiday time when we're all watching Hallmark Channel and all these Christmas romance movies. But it's called "I Want to Date Again," and so he's going to have some good insight as somebody who has helped restore smiles and do things like that for years. He's going to bring some information about that. But also talking with Dr. Kevin Kilday, who's in the studio. Dr. Kevin, you did a great Helping Seniors update with me just the other day. And this isn't actually the topic we're going to talk about on the radio today, but I wanted to point listeners also to make sure you get your copy of the Senior Scene magazine, because in the center of Senior Scene magazine is the free Helping Seniors newsletter. The magazine is free. The newsletter is free. You just got to grab your copy. If you're not going out, that's fine. You can all read it online. Just go to helpingseniors.brevard.org. And Dr. Kevin, you had an article called Mental Health Issues Rising During the COVID-19 due to COVID-19 over the holidays. And again, that was sort of what we talked about in the Helping Seniors update that you and I talked about. We have to depression and issues like that are always a challenge around the holiday times, but I guess especially now when you add all this COVID stuff in here too.
Yes. During this, the pandemic, they have seen increases across the board with mental health issues such as depression and anxiety, increases in alcohol and drug abuse, and psychologists and therapists are reporting that that they're overwhelmed with business. So I'm glad to hear that people are, they are reaching out and getting help. When they see the signs that that they need to talk to someone and get a grip on things. But yes, as you stated, historically, in the holiday season, there's always a rise, in depression and anxiety and alcohol and drug abuse, just due to increased stresses, I guess would be the word to use. Stresses of shopping, not having enough money to shop, seeing, relatives, or not being able to see relatives this year, due to COVID. So it's it's a large mixture of things that unfortunately during the holiday season comes to an ugly head.
Yeah, under good circumstances, it's complicated for a lot of people during the holidays, and then give COVID and all these lockdown and restrictions like that, it takes it even farther. And so the topic that we're going to actually talk about with you, Dr. Kevin Kilday, in a little bit is PEMF therapy. This is a new one for me, so I'm gonna just say that the benefit of this is reduction in pain and inflammation and more. And so we're going to come back to that. But I want to go ahead and welcome Dr. Lee Sheldon to the show today. Hello, Dr. Sheldon. How are you? Well, must have been something I said. So we'll have Dr. Lee Sheldon joining us here shortly. And again, I love the topic that he selected for today. I want to date again. And it sounds like a funny thing, but, Dr. Kevin Kilday, we were just talking about isolation and the things that people feel. And I guess that becomes really kind of even more acute during the holidays. And you maybe either remember spending time with people in the past, and for whatever reason that's not happening now, and especially now with COVID. And I guess it just adds to all those challenges that you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of human behavior that we like to share with other human beings, and the opposite sex, and and it's very difficult, if you're a widower or if you're divorced or whatever. It could be very difficult this time of year being alone and not having that significant other in your life.
Yeah, and I think you did a really good job in the update section, just in general, talking about things that you can do. I always take it from the approach that we've made it thus far through all the COVID and all the, even when they talk about increasing numbers and things, and we know that it looks like we have good news about a vaccine around the corner and all of those things. But I always feel like, well, we've made it this far, Dr. Kevin Kilday, but we ought to work to stay safe. We ought to be careful as we go through the holidays. Just do, the CDC guidelines haven't changed a whole lot since we first started talking about COVID, right? It's still all the things. We're sitting in the studio wearing our masks,
right,
6 feet apart.
And it is good to see that that a majority, I would say 98% probably, are wearing masks out there, every day in public.
Yeah, and then washing the hands for 20 seconds and using hand sanitizer when it's not, and such like that. So all those are the right ways to stay safe from COVID through the holidays. So again, it's my privilege to welcome to the radio show Dr. Lee Sheldon. How are you today, sir?
All right, Kerry, how are you?
I am good. And we were just smiling because it's an interesting topic that you had suggested we talk about today, called I Want to Date Again. And I mean, we are living in the land of Hallmark movies, and romance is in the air every time you turn on one of those and things like that. But I guess you're tackling it from a completely different side of the equation, because I guess when we don't have our smile right, or we feel badly, maybe that's part of the things that it hurts our self-confidence or things like that. I'm curious to see where how you want to approach this topic on today.
Well, I'll tell you, of course, dentistry, the top two things that people want is they want to be able to smile, and that's number one. And number two, they want to be able to chew. So, and of course, that's what most dentists approach. We all approach it in our own fashions, but that's what we approach. I think I'll give you a little bit of background. Understand that my background is as a periodontist, so it's as a surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up in the field, particularly before the days of dental implants, and by the way, this is not a dental implant sales pitch today, but growing up within the field of surgery, my job was to save teeth. And later on, my job was to put in dental implants. So when we first started doing dental implants, of course, all of us were a little bit tenuous, at least most of us are. At the time dental implants first came out, we didn't know how good they would be. And so you start replacing one tooth at a time. And then once you get some success with one tooth at a time, well, let's go to two teeth, and then three teeth. And you start to develop some success. All right, let's replace a full arch, meaning all of the teeth that are missing on the lower arch or the upper arch.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out that here people, particularly with a lower denture, for example, didn't have any confidence because the lower denture barely stays in, and even with a lot of stickum in there, you're still self-conscious because every time you move your lip or every time you move your tongue, then the teeth move too. All of a sudden, we're restoring people to the point where those teeth don't move, and then we're restoring upper teeth to the point where they don't move, and people start doing things other than that I didn't expect. You know, replacing one tooth at a time. Well, we always replace one tooth at a time. But you replace a full arch, and people are starting to smile and chew, and they get confidence again. Well, that's when I hear, oh, I got a better job. Oh, I started a new relationship. Oh, my high school boyfriend saw my smile on Facebook, and now we're dating again. All of those things that I really didn't experience as a dentist early in my career, I started to experience as a dentist in the middle of my career. Well, if I'm experiencing that as a dentist, imagine what the patients are, the people who are seeing us for care are experiencing.
Sure.
And we started to accumulate these stories. And the stories were just amazing. So I didn't realize my value as a dentist or as a periodontist until quite a few years into my career and found out that lives were literally changing as a result of what we did. And that's a big thrill for us. But, that thrill for us is something that we're living through our patients. Our patients tell us what's going on. So, I want to behave, I want to smile again, or I want to date again. It's been a focus, particularly when we're in a population of people that are my age, and I'm 70. People are losing spouses in one way or another, or through divorce, or through death, or whatever it is, and they want to get back into circulation. There are a number of people who see us saying, I need to get back into circulation.
Yeah,
People have been used to, my spouse was used to my losing this tooth or this brown stain here, or whatever it is. We both had brown stains. Everything was okay. But now that one spouse has died, and I'm not talking about just dental implants, but maybe just a well-placed filling. Now that somebody has died, I want to get back in the scene. I want to be able to regain confidence again. And so they start seeing us for dentistry. It's not just us, anybody, for dentistry, just to be able to get back into the dating scene and feel good about themselves.
Yeah, we're talking with Dr. Lee Sheldon, who's a noted area periodontist. And, Dr. Sheldon, I was thinking as you were talking about this, sometimes I guess people, if somebody were to say, hey, listen, I want to get my smile straightened out, somebody go, oh, you're just being vain. You're just, this is all about you. And yet, when I hear you, and I've heard you for quite a number of years since you've been associated with helping seniors, you've talked about the real transformation that happens in people's lives. It's really not about vanity. It's about getting them to a place where they, number one, have self-confidence, and number two, aren't hiding behind a broken smile or something like that, and it just lets them really shine as who they really are anyway.
It's true. And what is vanity anyway? You know, why do we go out and buy a new suit or a new dress or anything? You know, we can walk around wearing the old clothes from 30 years ago. We can do that. You know, part of living life is actually living life.
Right.
And for some people, you know, the smile is the last thing they want. You don't have to get a smile restored if that's not the type of life you're living. If you're living a type of life where you're fully satisfied in what you're doing and everything is okay and the relationships you have either don't make any difference or the relationships you have are with people that look like you, feel like you, and you're okay with it, you don't need to get dentistry done, except to get rid of infections. I mean, you don't want to lose your health over it. But that's that part of the population. Then there's part of the population that says, "Boy, you know how I used to be when I was in high school or when I was in college, when I was working, and now I'm not that way anymore, and it's strictly because of my mouth." By the way, it could be the way your mouth smells as well. You know, periodontal disease causes bad breath. It's just not the way it was. I want to get back to where I was because I was happier in my life during that time. That's the person who should see a good dentist and see a good periodontist, if you will, to get that back.
You know, I was thinking because I remember seeing at one of the dental seminars where you do this great thing where you invite folks in, and they're able to get. It's just an informational thing. You know, there was no big high pressure pitch or anything. You were just getting information in the community. But I remember you told this story, and you had some slides of a gentleman who I just remember, you know, he had a lot of missing teeth or things like that. You told that he was maybe working as like a night security guard or something.
John. Yeah, John.
And then you show the after picture, and what transformed in his life was just phenomenal.
Yeah, so he got a guy who's a night watchman, does not open his mouth. His teeth were not totally black, but relatively black with decay all over. And, you know, when you see that, that's a health problem as well, because if it's that black, that means that there's decay, which means bacteria getting in through the tooth, up through the root canal, and up into the bone. So that does create a health problem as well. And so we moved from unsightly teeth where he doesn't even remember how to smile anymore because he had such a bad dental experience when he was 15 years old that he never went to see the dentist. Now we're seeing him in his 40s. And then all of a sudden he says, I got to do something about this, gets in, sees us, develops a relationship, and gets a better job. I mean, yeah.
And you haven't seen this one time. You must have seen this like hundreds of times over your career where maybe somebody come in and said, I just want to try to get my mouth in a little better shape. It ends up changing their entire world for the good.
Yeah. It's the number of stories that we have, you know, you see the tip of the iceberg, or you see when we did that dental implant or that dental change your smile, change your life seminar, which we did for a number of years until COVID. Yeah, I mean, there are so many more stories like that. And, you know, I think one problem, Kerry, is, you know, they people have expectations when they see me that sometimes it's going to cost more than it really does.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, we obviously do big cases. I mean, we if you have a dental problem, pretty much, you know, we can take care of and do take care of any problem here. But people who've neglected their mouths for a long period of time sometimes have tremendous disease, and they need all of the things that we do with extractions and dental implants and all of the things we do. And other people think they have a bigger problem than they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without oh, that's all it is, and all I have to do is this, and I'll be able to get my smile. Yeah, I mean, part of a good dental examination is finding out, hey, maybe it's not nearly as bad as you thought, or sometimes maybe it's not nearly as bad as you were told. So, yeah, I mean, don't go into the dental office, particularly when you're getting a complete examination, which is looking at every fundamental aspect of the mouth, from tooth decay to jaw function to how the bite is to periodontal disease. Looking at every part of this. By the way, taking photographs for us is a big deal because people can then look at their mouths and I can look at their smiles and see what they can do. But don't go in there with any preconceived notions with regard to cost or with regard to any treatment, because sometimes the plan that we come up with is going to be far better than or far less expensive than what.
That was something I was going to ask you here in the middle of COVID world, where I'm not sure if people are able to access those kind of dental seminars and just get information. We get bombarded with those ads on TV, but I was, from a lot of places say, oh, this or oh, that, but they don't really take into account your health and all these other things maybe necessarily. But one of the questions that I wanted to ask you as we're coming up on the mid-show break, though, was if somebody's interested, you have a tremendous program that actually benefits the work of helping seniors. If somebody comes in, you have a way that they can come in, they can get involved, get a kind of like a overall, here's where I'm at, exam, everything. You can help them pick out a good path. How does that work? We've got probably a minute left.
It's true, and when you see some of the ads on TV, which are for the most part they're dental implant ads where they only do one service. Essentially, it's a 10-minute visit with the doctor, and then the assistant tells you what you need. And of course, there's only one service they provide for the most part in those places. For us, it's much more comprehensive because we're not only looking at extracting teeth, we're also looking at saving teeth, and we're looking at a number of factors. So their free examination is their free examination. Our examination here, which is a 2-hour experience, essentially says, all right, if you write a check for $50 or more to Helping Seniors of Brevard, then you just come in with a check and write the check for $50. Then the money goes to Helping Seniors of Brevard, and you get the X-rays, including the CT scan, which is pretty expensive. CT scans these days are going for around $200. And get the time with us and time with my assistants who've been doing this with me for years and years and years, for free. So just give the money to that charity. There are other charities as well, but Helping Seniors of Brevard is the one we're talking about here.
And we're kind of partial to that one. Hey, Dr. Sheldon, we're going to mid-show break, but we're going to come back and we're going to open up with a phone number for how to reach you. And we've also got Dr. Kevin Kilday ahead.
Helping Seniors of Brevard, that music of your life means it's time to start the second half of our show. And here's a gentleman who is also very familiar with Helping Seniors of Brevard and the many different guests that we have each week on the show, and that is none other than Kerry Fink.
And we kind of left on a cliffhanger. We were going to give Dr. Lee Sheldon's phone number after we just talked about really, I think some of the amazing work that I've seen that his office has been able to do, and the topic that we were covering on this is I Want to Date Again. And particularly during the holidays, maybe you find yourself maybe a little bit more out of the loop than you'd like to have been. Maybe there was some life change. Somebody that you were with is no longer with you, and things like that. And we were in this discussion that sometimes what might be considered a medical effort actually ends up being sort of a life renewing effort. So I don't know if we still have Dr. Sheldon with us, but let's continue this conversation. And by the way, in this half hour, we're going to cover that, and also we have both the doctors are in the house because we also have Dr. Kevin Kilday with Holistic Health Center, and we're going to cover the topic of PEMF therapy and how it relates to pain and inflammation and helping reduce all that. But since we've been kind of like steaming right along on everything connected to this idea of maybe getting a solid bite kind of lookup using that Helping Seniors program. How does that work again, and how do people get in touch with your office?
So, first of all, to get in touch with our office, the phone number is 259-8000, 259-8000, area code 321. And just let them know that you are referred by Helping Seniors of Brevard.
Yes. and really the thing is, because, especially I guess during this holiday season, we see a lot of commercials about, get your brand new smile from this place or this place. And they seem like some national corporate places. And, I guess the question is, as you were talking about before the break, sometimes the solutions are not just like a one-stop shop. You really need to take into account each patient's particular circumstances and situation.
It's correct. They do a good job. I mean, the ones you see that advertise on TV, their work is very, very good. I think if you're looking for that particular service, and that's the only service that's the only service you're looking for, it's fine. When it comes to the costs for that kind of a service are going to be pretty much the same no matter where you go, for somebody who's qualified to do it. The difference for us is simply the matter of doing a full evaluation and talking about saving your teeth as well. Sometimes saving the teeth is a better solution than extracting the teeth. There are certain assumptions that are made that teeth can't be treated, and in fact, when teeth can be treated, they can be treated and can be kept for a lifetime. So the advantage we offer is that there is more than one service that we provide. That, in fact, we do save full mouths of teeth and save people time, save people money, and frankly, people feel better with their own teeth than they do with implant-supported teeth. Your teeth have a certain feeling to it. So if the disease can be taken care of and be taken care of relatively permanently, it's better to save the teeth. And that's the options that we give. We can talk about what would happen if we save the teeth, what would happen if we extract the teeth, and do what they advertise on TV.
Well,
and we do both. We have an anesthesiologist here at least once a week when we're doing that kind of work, because we do plenty of that work. But then there's the other work that can be far simpler and frankly can be just as satisfying, if not more satisfying. So it's a matter of writing a check to Helping Seniors of Brevard, and then we do the full evaluation, give you all the options, not just a single option, and then you decide where you want to go.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you really do have, within your practice, you have really so many of the bases covered. You're able to do, the whole mouth restoration, but then you also, your son, who has been named one of the top, was it the top 40 dentists under 40? Was that the award that he received this year?
Exactly right.
So he's general dentistry, and you have another periodontist, Dr. Michelle Furtado, in the office, and what I kind of gather is that you're equipped really to help at almost any level that's called for, as opposed to if you maybe you're looking at a place that this is what we do. We pull teeth and give you dentures or whatever they say they do. It's like it's a whole different feeling.
It is, and I think when people come to our office and they have that 2-hour experience, and it's certainly satisfying when a patient gets done with the examination and says, "I've never had an examination like that." That puts a smile on my face at this age.
Well, it's a sign. It's a sign that you're doing some things right. So one more time, what's the number to for people to be able to take advantage of that Helping Seniors offer?
259-8000. And let them know you've been referred by Helping Seniors of Brevard.
Okay.
And we'll take care of everything from there.
One more time. I think I kind of talked over you the first time.
Okay, it's area code 321-259-8000.
That's good. And it's a great thing. So if you're thinking about things that will brighten your holiday season, certainly every time you go to Dr. Sheldon's office, everybody, it's just a great office you have. We've talked about this so many times on different folks. There's there's so many TV shows, radio shows, articles that Dr. Sheldon has done over the years. He's been associated with Joe and the Helping Seniors team really since before there was a Helping Seniors, because the story goes you were the guy that got Joe started on TV through your own TV show. And
I just found some of those old TV shows. I've got to dig up one that has Joe in it.
oh, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Let us know. Let us know when you come across that. That is terrific.
We'll put it on the Helping Seniors of Brevard website. Wouldn't that be neat?
Oh, it would be great. Yeah, because we were just talking at the beginning of the show how Dr. Sheldon, you helped Joe get started in TV, and then John Harper, who's here on the radio show today, helped Joe get started in radio. And the story goes, at least for radio, that Joe is, we had been saying, the first longest running talk show host in Brevard County, but then we decided that was actually second only to John Harper. But really, that's a pretty strong thing to be doing, like a couple of decades of media right here in Brevard County. Means you know the area and you know what's going on, I think.
There's one other person that John got started.
Yes?
My son.
Oh, that's
My
right.
son Daniel, who works for NBC Sports Northwest, started on radio at that time at WMEL when he was, what was it, John, 16 years old, I think, right?
Yeah, he was 16, and right from the get-go, he did a great job for us. I remember he came in a lot on Saturdays and worked with us on Saturday mornings and afternoons, and was just a great personality, a good person, and delighted to hear how well he's been doing ever since he first got going with us on WMEL.
Well, thank you. I got to tell you, John, I know you got another guest, but a thrill for me was, I had to take over. Remember, Dennis Shepard was doing a program,
Yeah.
and Daniel was working the board. And I took Dennis's place. It was the first time I'd ever done a 2 or 3 hour talk show, a host by myself. And here is my son acting as my producer, acting as my director. That was a big thrill for me.
Oh, that's great.
Very special times, absolutely.
It was.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sheldon, for joining on the show today. We're gonna talk a little bit with Dr. Kevin Kilday, but if we don't talk to you before, want to wish you a great holiday season this year. And really, before you go, please give those numbers one more time, just so everybody has a chance to grab a pencil and jot this down. I think you'll really appreciate the approach and the information. And quite frankly, the cost. If you do that $50 donation to Helping Seniors, you're going to help our organization, but you're really going to end up helping yourself, I believe.
Yep, and just call us, talk to Jill, and the phone number is 321-259-8000.
Hey, Lee, before you hang up, we were talking about when you had your TV show back in the 90s, and I had mentioned to Kerry, Fink, as we started the show, when we were waiting for you to come online, you were on, at the time, what was the name of the company before Bright House?
It was Time Warner Cable.
Is that what it was, just Time Warner Cable?
Yeah.
Okay, and then they changed to Bright House and now Spectrum.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Wow.
And the show was Checkup. And I remember, John, you were there, and I called you Jim.
Yes. Yep. Remember that well. But nonetheless, we had some good times, and you were kind of a trailblazer in those days on television, and of course with what you've done over the years with us on radio as well. So we have really appreciated that, Lee Sheldon, and we wish you a happy holiday season for you and your family, and of course all of your staff there at the office as well, doing a great job.
Thank you, John. Same to you, and Kerry, to you, and your families. And John, you've created opportunities for me for my entire career, and I want to thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Sheldon. And so, Dr. Kevin Kilday, one of the things, and it's interesting because this is actually something that Dr. Sheldon has talked about a lot, but the actual number one topic when we go through and we look at what are called the analytics, meaning who's watching the different rebroadcasts and things like that, the number one popular thing that seems to get searched for with people looking at helping senior stuff is anything about pain relief. And I know Dr. Kevin Kilday, who is the owner and operator of Holistic Health Center. This is an area you do a lot of things. You specialize in cancer therapies, addiction recoveries, but I know the third leg of your practice is really helping people in pain.
Yes, I've added that specialty because it's all related. For people who have cancer, obviously, experience a lot of pain, and people who have ended up with a drug addiction. A lot of their times, the root cause, was taking some pain relief, the narcotics, whatever it may be. Or alcohol, whatever, but it's normally to relieve, physical and or mental pain.
And so the topic that we're going to cover for a few minutes on today, I thought was fascinating because it's an acronym. I mean, we live on the Space Coast where everything is an acronym, right? NASA and EULA and all those kind of things. But this acronym is PEMF. What does that stand for? Talk to us a little bit about it.
Well, it stands for Pulse Electromagnetic Frequency.
Okay, you're already over my head, but keep going.
Well, for instance, the body, it is naturally programmed to heal itself, and we all are connected to Earth frequencies. And believe it or not, all animals and humans, rely on Earth frequencies to survive. And even NASA uses the PEMF generators, like in space, because the astronauts can't survive without the Earth's, geomagnetic frequencies.
Wow!
So it's a fascinating subject. And this device is actually a mat that you lie on. That's one of the devices, and it puts out certain frequencies as you're lying on the mat, and you only have to lie on it for a short time, maybe about 10 minutes or so, and it has been shown to improve blood flow. Mm-hmm. It improves circulation. It decreases inflammation, therefore decreases pain, and also relaxes you and decreases stress. And increases and decreases fatigue. Mm-hmm. Increases energy as a result. Now it has been approved now by the FDA for a number of things.
Wow.
Going as far back as 1979, mm-hmm. The FDA approved this therapy for non-union fractures. That helps with the increase the length of time in healing fractures. It also in 1998. It was approved for urinary incontinence and also for muscle stimulation. The FDA approved it. So it has a long history. 2006, FDA approved it for for depression and anxiety.
Wow.
And in 2011, it's shown as an effective treatment for brain cancer.
So if somebody says, okay, I've never heard of this before, but you're telling me that even NASA uses it like on the space station. So how does somebody access this? Are they calling you and then there's treatment protocols, or is there equipment, or how do you work with folks on this topic within Holistic Health Center?
Well, yes, if they go to my website, holistichealthcenter.us, I actually name a product on there called Beamer, and Beamer is one of the the leaders in the PEMF manufacture of product, and and I do have I do use the Beamer. I have access to people who I'm contracted with that help people with that. But we at Holistic Health Center are getting an alternative brand. A brand that's just as good, because this technology is manufactured by numerous people, and so they can go to my website and get some information on general PEMF, the technology, but using the Beamer brand. But like I said, there are other brands out there which we're using a different one now, and it's as effective, as the Beamer.
Well, and so one of the things I gather is that with most people, it starts with a consultation, right? They call you. They can either set up you have a way that you're able to meet people with safe social distancing, all those precautions in place, either physically, but then you've also moved into being able to do these teleconsultations as well.
Yes, we also do we use the Zoom technology. If you have a computer at home, I can send you an invite, and you just open up the invite, and I'm making it sound real easy, but it is as easy as that.
It is.
and we have a face-to-face consultation. With this PMF therapy, we are entertaining the idea of doing house calls with this technology. But I'm not officially announcing that yet, but we are looking into that idea, because it's totally portable.
So when you do something like that, is that a treatment that lasts a certain period of time and then you repeat it at certain intervals, or how do you usually implement this PMF?
Well, everybody
technology?
is different, because of the pain that we're trying to reduce. That's why you go to the doctor and they always rate pain from 1 to 10.
Sure.
I'm sure a pain that's near the 10 mark, 9 or 10, and it depends if it's just an acute injury or if it's a chronic injury. So we got to take all those things into consideration. If it's something that's that it's very painful. They may need a few treatments a week. For the time being. Because it's not instantaneous. So it does take a little bit of time, but you only need to be on there 10, maybe 20 minutes at the max.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay.
There's really no effective therapy after that length of time.
Interesting.
But it's it's a great. It always fascinated me, and I just said, well, I want to start writing about it again, start advertising more about it again, because also in my protocol for cancer called Winning Against Cancer, one of the things that's very important is increasing oxygen in a cancer patient's body, because cancer cannot live in an oxygen environment.
Right.
Okay. So we asked the patient if they're well enough to maybe start some a very mild exercise program, because that increases oxygen. However, some people are just too sick to do that. This increases oxygen in the body. But by increasing blood flow, it increases circulation. In a cancer client's protocol, they might be taking numerous supplements that I recommend that have been clinically studied, and by increasing blood flow and increasing circulation, it's getting these nutrients to the cells, to the cancer cells. All right, and to normal cells, and increasing the effectiveness of normal cells to battle those cancer cells. So it's a great technology.
So let me ask you this, because when Joe is normally hosting the show, As anybody's been around Joe for any amount of time, we know that he suffers from fibromyalgia. Has there been any work with this kind of technology? Does it have any applicability or benefit to people in that area?
Well, yes, I would say, I can't say that there's clinical studies for it. I haven't, looked at all the clinical studies yet. But I would say yes, because the type of the condition that fibromyalgia is, it seems to be an inflammation of nerves and muscles, and this is known to relax muscles. So I would say yes, this is this is an effective treatment for fibromyalgia pain.
So let's talk a little bit. You have a tremendous website that has lots and lots of resources. It's holistichealthcenter.us, holistichealthcenter.us. I'm going to give you a moment to grab a pencil and a paper. I'll say that again in just a moment, and also ask Dr. Kevin to share his phone numbers so you can get in touch with him directly. But one of the things I was going to say connected to the discussion that we're having about this, you are also on the faculty of a college of natural health and healing. So this is really a large part of your life is really helping people find these treatments and therapies that may be helpful to them.
Yes, I am on the board of a brand new college that's going to be launching in a matter of weeks, and it's called Faith College of Natural Health, and I'm just at the point in my life where I wanted to start sharing more of my knowledge.
Right.
I really enjoy helping people and and helping them with their health. But when it's the whole as far as I'm concerned, the whole population needs to be educated on other alternative medicine modalities.
Right.
There's a lot of ways of healing, rather than just going to the doctor and getting a pill.
Right. So again, lots of good resources available on your website, which again is holistichealthcenter.us, holistichealthcenter.us. And I guess I have to remind myself that it's holistic is HOLISTIC. So because sometimes you want to think of it like, even it is trying to make you whole, WHOLE.
Right.
When you go to the website, it's HOL, holistichealthcenter.us. And what about those phone numbers, Dr.
Yes,
Kevin?
the phone number is 321-549-0711.
One more time, so
Yeah,
they got a pencil.
321-549-0711.
And you're willing to sit down and have that initial discussion with somebody, and there's no charge for that, right?
No, there's no charge, for a short consultation on the phone.
Okay.
Just to, to find out what their concerns are. What they want me to help them with. There's no charge whatsoever.
Good.
For that.
So real quick, because we're actually at the end, but
Okay.
the phone number?
Yeah, 321-549-0711. You always get myself on the phone.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for joining us today for Helping Seniors Radio. We'll see you back here on WEJF Radio next week.